Is there any additions to the agenda yet?
Thank you, Reeve. Yes, I do have one. We do have another in-camera item to add, specifically communications solicitor client privilege regarding cross-border services agreement.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, do I have a motion to accept the agenda? Wadden and Campbell, all in favor? Carried. Declaration of pecuniary interest, if any. None noted. Okay, for the Reeves report, there's a number of things that's been good news in the last 2 weeks. In last week's Advance Times, it was very interesting to note that Carol Phillips is in the top 3 in the 2014 CanFit Pro Fitness Professional of the Year Award. And we definitely wish Carol in the next stage of that competition. Also, Brittany Haynes was first runner-up in the Ontario Miss Midwest pageant. And Hunter Skin, also at the Ontario Miss Midwest pageant, won the Little Miss Princess competition. So that I think those 3 ladies from North Huron really deserve credit for stepping forward and showing how strong we are in people power. Also, last Friday, I was honored to attend the dedication service for the naming of the bridge on Blue Water Veterans Highway in honor of Corporal Matthew Denning. And this was a very well-attended, respectful service at the Wingham Legion. The Lions A9 Charlie Shaw International Youth Exchange is in its 40th year, and I had the opportunity of attending the breakfast with the Wingham Lions a week ago Saturday, and also a dinner last Friday night in Blythe. One of the highlights of the dinner in Blythe, though, was the presentation to Charlie Shaw of Lions Life Membership in honor of his long history of Lions work, especially highlighted by the youth exchange work he has done. And also, we have a very busy 2 weeks coming up with the Wingham Jet Rally taking place this coming weekend, 25th, 26th, and 27th. And the air show at noon on Saturday of the model jets will be definitely something that will be a great experience to see for those that haven't. Also, Blythe Street Fest will be taking place this Saturday with a number of events also. And start planning on which events that you can attend for the Wingham Homecoming, July 31st to August 4th. This shows North Huron to be a very active place to live and many things going on. As I have said all along with my intentions for the October 27th municipal election this fall, that I would make a decision in July. And that decision is I will be filing my name running for the position of Reeve again. So, there's a lot of things that I would like to see carried through. We may have a number of changes, and I believe that I can provide some connectivity to how things have been done to where we are on a number of projects. Thank you very much. Reading of the previous minutes for July 7th. Do I have a mover? Campbell and Bailey. All in favor? Carried. deputations. First. Doug? Okay, we'll have Doug Kyvan basically explain the curb appeal committee work and whatever else you want.
Sure. Okay, well,
Thank you.
your Wingham BIA has been very busy and active, and we have a lot of fun. Last year I was here and I showed you two events that we ran, was the Weed Whack Wingham and the Paint Town. And so this year we continued with that. Actually, we had a couple of events. The BIA partnered with the Main River Community Church and did the Broken Branches Blitz in the spring. There, after the snow went away, we had all those broken branches that came down from the ice storms. So 28 lawns were cleaned up, and it was partnership showing up together and doing the work around town. And then this year we ran with the homecoming in place, we continued the Main Street cleanup work. And we actually ran three-hour runs. We did a Friday night from 6 to 9, a Saturday morning from 8 to 11, and it kind of extended beyond that, of course. And then a Monday night, which was actually well attended because a lot of the retailers couldn't make it out for the Monday night to help out. And so it was a lot of your BIA members that came out to do this, and we called it the Main Street Paint and Cleanup event. So kept it simple. And so we attacked on both fronts. And so I'll just show you the slides of the before and after photos. It's kind of fun to see the transformation that takes place in our town. Some of these places might look familiar to you from last year. So did some well drilling. You can see the weeds there, and they're chopped down a little under control again. Beside Burnside. And we're not picking on any of these businesses for sloppy stuff. It's just where we saw weeds growing, we were just went downtown. Clutch before and after. This was actually the Wingham Community Trail up by the Libro entrance there, and you can see the grass growing there along the side of the trail. This is before, and this is after. There's the trail cleaned up, the entrance looking a lot better for the homecoming. Coffee culture, that forever growing shrub, we trimmed it back again, and alongside the subway pizza, with that New Orleans pizza there, that area there before and after. We had 28 volunteers out, and some did multiple days, so we had 30 plus people if you counted the doubles in. Across from the post office, a bit of work there. Behind Grumpy's, before and after. The old CIBC bank there, nicely cleaned up by the Horticultural Society rep. This is in behind the lawyer's office and the CIBC, the old CIBC. So this is before and after. Quite a transformation there. Before and after the transformation. A little bit of cleanup back in here. This is in the Church Store Salvation Army parking lot. The weeds were along Veterans Drive there before and after, nicely cleaned up. And this is an after shot. I didn't have before shots by the Frosty Queen there. Tend to get a bit of vegetation growth in around there near the old car wash, I should say. This is in behind the Great China House, and back in that area there, by the library actually. The library's right to the left of this shot, and this is a before, and this is an after. You do see some weeds, but those are actually milkweed that we didn't. If we saw milkweed in patches, we left it alone for the monarch butterflies. So that was done. The fire hydrants down the main street here, they were looking a little bit rusty and looked like they could use sprucing up. So this one is actually right near the Crookshank Park, before and after. In front of the town hall, before and after. This was Main Street down near the gate chest, before and after. And down by Bell's Pizza and more, before and after. Amazing transformation down by Thunder Road, before and after. And just to show you how many we did, I'll show you the rest of them. I don't have before and afters for all of them, but this is down in the dollar store up by the Valley Mart Plaza. This is working our way back to TD Bank, Adrian's by the post office corner there, the chiropractor, and the Crookshank Park. They're in the Crookshank Park in front of the church, and down the beer store. So all those were done with grinder, wire brush grinder, and I'll show you a picture of that later, and 2 coats of paint were done on them all. We had another crew that went out and went after the bollards. Those are those little yellow things that are used to protect door openings and natural gas meters. And so this is before and after, before and after, before and after by KG Electronics, and then behind Barry's Escal, there was 3 posts there, before and after. Isn't that fun? This is actually behind the town hall right here, and this is before, and check this one out, after. Ooh, don't you love that? Then this was in behind Godfather's Pizza, a couple of bollards got painted. Actually, this is the railing that's to the back basement entrance to the town hall, got the before and after. And a crew with black paint, so hey, go back there and do that too. Godfather's Pizza had some damage from the snow plow and got through the winter time, so too good. That's coming right in from the south of Wingham, so it was kind of an eyesore. This is before. Did a little structural work, had to add some 2x12s, which the good guys at Royal Homes donated, and then a little bit of new lumber. And so here you've got the before and the after. So that's quite a nice enhancement. Some of the stuff I'm showing you was done by the business owners themselves. So this is Barry's Escal. I noticed that his sign was a bit rusty. Went over and offered to paint it with the volunteers. And he said, no, I got somebody coming in when we're shutting down. And so this is before and this is after, nice and cleaned up. This is actually the alleyway between State and Harbor and the family tree. You see it's kind of moldy down along the edge there because the sun never gets at it. This is before and that's after. So quite a nice cleanup with a pressure sprayer and some bleach. And we got carried away. That was Bill from the maintenance restaurant myself for playing pressure sprayer. So he said, I got to buy one of these. So we went back and blasted. It was like branches and all kinds of gravel had washed, from and behind Farm Save down in the back there. So we didn't just stick to the main street. We cleaned up back in here. So this was, I don't have before pictures, but it is a remarkable change what took place. And then this is the family tree and the Maitland restaurant. Take a close look at that horizontal strip of metal between the second story and the first story. Notice the air conditioner, so this is before, and here's after. And so this was actually the business owners paid the contractor to put the new metal flashing up. We didn't do that. It was just we got involved and just said, hey, they're busy trying to keep their store open, and so if some of us have some connection with contractors and can provide them with a price, then they just say okay, and away they go. So the metal flashing got all nicely replaced there. Close up there was the air conditioner with that, I don't know if some of you noticed that lovely garden hose that went down to the street level. It did annoy a few people, and so that is gone. The air conditioner's gone. There's a nice clean piece of pipe that the water drains into and goes down the street level. Around the door openings, got that patched up and painted, so just nice. And the archways above them were all painted as well. Even down to the details of like little vents along the bottom there, nicely cleaned up and painted up along the sidewalk. This is Microwave Basics. The railing was looking a little tired, and so there's your transformation from that to that. They also had a ding in the fascia there, and again, this is something that I just helped arrange a contractor, but then they paid the bill for that. I'm more than happy to get that transformed to that. And you notice they put up a new sign as well, so that really cleaned up the front there. Finishing touches, it was in pretty rough shape, and so volunteers helped out with that. So that's the before photos, and there's the after. Quite a nice change there. This was the sidewalk before and the sidewalk after, or the step coming into the store. bricks were kind of falling apart, and got the bricklayer in and fixed up the bricks as well, and did some repainting. The right side of that store is a new business that's going to be opening up in Wingham, and so they actually did paint the right side from the post to the right themselves. And then Margaret, she's still from Finishing Touches, she bought a gallon of the matching paint, and we just continued on. And the volunteers painted the left side over there and did the step as well. So Pandora's Pantry, actually a nice store, but if you look at the second floor, those windows and sills were looking horrible. And that, again, we don't take credit for this. This is the Beningers, Lloyd and Jan Beninger, that own this building, and they put in beautiful new windows, all looking lovely. So that building's looking good. And we went down to the sidewalk level. So there's little protectors that are down there that were kind of rusty at the base, and so got down and painted that stuff up. This is the Wing Advance Times, and so there's the railing. If you take a close look, you see how it's really hurting for some paint. And there's before, and there's an after, and there's before, and there's an after. It's phenomenal. Like, you just get a little bit of paint, volunteers for a couple of hours, and we have fun doing it, and it just transforms things. It just gives it a fresh. Here again, this was the Grumpy's building that's owned by Murray Simpson, and just it had never been finished. You see the weathered wood and the gap around the window, so just a phone call to him, and I said, hey, homecoming's coming along, it'd be nice to get the building cleaned up. And so next day, he had a couple guys out there, and bam, finished off around the window and put up the aluminum there, so that looks nice. And some other holes in the building that got fixed as well. This little piece of trim had never been finished off before, and there's after. So don't take credit for that. That was actually done by the builders. This is the old Triumph Discount. The paint was kind of falling off, and this is the before. And that was done within half an hour to get just changed from that to that, and very little paint needed. Snyder's, just mentioned to Jim, and he went and got this fixed up. So there's your before and after, just a little bit of cleanup. Touch of Class, Mike McDonough, he did this work himself. His sign was looking a little weathered, and he got that painted up nicely. And his air conditioner, the face of the town hall here, was looking a little rusty. He got that fixed up too. So just a few conversations here and there. Ernie King, then Dave Wallace working away on things, and he knows homecoming's coming, so his store is transformed to note the sign and the white changed from this to this. So, and he said he was still going to paint the fascia there on the building, but just a bit of paint and a little bit of tender loving care makes a big difference. This one actually drove me nuts. I would drive by this all the time and see those saw cuts from when they put the sidewalk in. The concrete sawdust, the dust went up against the building and it just stuck there, and stayed there, and it became part of the building after how long that's been. So that's the before, and there's an after. That's why I borrowed your battery wireless, battery powered wire brush. So just a little before and after. Coffee culture, the railing, you can see it starting to rust along the bottom, and so a couple volunteers on a Saturday morning changed that from that to that, and we actually had a bunch of volunteers come in on the Monday night as well and throw a second coat on the whole deal there. And their sign was getting the structural posts were getting a little bit looking weathered, so there's before and after. Again, just an hour on a Saturday morning. There's a before the post, and there's the after. Now in the beer store, I had to work on this for a year. It took a year to get through to the corporate head office and the two people that made the decision way at the top to get some repairs done here. Now the curbs, just take a look at the curbs here. This we did without any corporate, we just did this as volunteers, so this is the before and the after. The curbs being painted. The before, the curb that is along the edge of the parking lot before, and after. Awesome, eh? Just jumps out at you. A year or two ago, the snowplow had done a number on their sill there, so you see how it's kind of torn, the metal's torn up. And so they paid a contractor, which I helped to arrange, to do that. So that's fixed up and looking a lot better when you enter into the beer store. Not that any of you regularly go there, but and so then this is the side wall. There was a guardrail there with some posts. The posts were removed, and it just sat like that for years. And so this is the before, and here's the after. Isn't that sweet? So that's really cleaned up and looking good. I saved one of the best for the last. This is the Wingham Mini Mart, and you notice the canopy is all faded. I tried helping Kevin Choi get a quote on replacing that thing. It was $12,000 to replace that whole awning thing with the new one. I choked and felt bad even just showing him the quote. He went out and bought some paint, and he did actually the one edge to that faces Alfred Street. And I said, man, that looks good. I said, do you want the rest of it painted? So a couple volunteers, one night, 2 volunteers for 3 hours, changed this to that. Isn't that awesome? Just jumps out at you. Just a bit of paint. It was $50 worth of paint, and so that was cleaned up there. All of this would not be possible without the volunteers. I don't have pictures of all the volunteers, but here's a number of them. The one night that I captured a snapshot of that came out, and you'll recognize one or two of your very own Wingham town staff in there. And so we had volunteers from the TD Bank, Maitland Restaurant, a whole crew of them, the Libro, Freedom 55, Dave Tiffin there. We had EMS, Libro, Stacy Boyd there, the gift chest. Boy, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. So the town, so it was really awesome, the participation of the number of people that got involved and helped out. There's Bill from the Maitland Restaurant painting away at finishing touches. There you got Terry Walker and Stacy doing the curbs at the gear store. Theron Riley and Sandy Walker doing they did them all. They painted them from end to end. There we have our very own.
We never knew.
First time.
I said, you ever run a wheel back? I'm sure you can. So her and Jim went away, and they were right from one end of town. Yeah, just fantastic. This is Inglis. Yes, with the horticulture. She came out and she went through and just took tender loving care of all the planter baskets from one end of the town to the other. There's Judy. She's right here with us. Hey, and don't let a walker stop her, or she'll get out there. And so she painted that railing and also the one at the keel, sanded it, and a couple coats of paint on it. There's Terry. I thought that was going to be the bottleneck. I loaned my generator with a electric because the batteries would run out too quickly. And he just charged off. He took off down the main street, and he just, we couldn't catch him. He made it all the way to Tim Hortons. And that's Frank Chartrand. He donated a lot of time for the painter. And there you've got Vanessa, which is Bill from Maitland Restaurant's wife, and Lisa Herndon, Fox and Fields. Oh, there's another one, Fox and Fields, that was also volunteered. And Frank, again, doing some more painting. And this is Miranda and Linda Logan from the TD Bank. And Vicki Brophy was, there's Bill and Mike. These guys took off with the weed eaters on another night and did all around behind stores. There's somebody you might recognize doing the pressure spraying. And there's Dave and Pam Tiffin, Coffee Culture, and this is the waitresses from Maitland Restaurant that were all helping out as well. And Frank doing some painting, and there's Renata Seaver and Christine McGrath doing Fast Times, and Vicki Brophy from TD Bank and a group. And there was more. I didn't get photos of everybody. There you go. That's it. So we had a great time.
Well, a big thank you for spearheading, drawing it together, and just plain getting the volunteers organized and going. It sure makes town look a lot nicer for homecoming and everything. So thank you to you and all the volunteers.
Yeah.
It's much appreciated.
Thank you. I forgot to mention also the initiatives we had, also the planter baskets, which of course you've seen on the main street. And you know, those initiatives cost nothing. In fact, we actually made money on the planter baskets, and we generally break even because business owners will donate $50, $45 here and there to us for the work that we do on their places, and it ends up being a break-even deal. So it's good stuff. Thank you guys.
Okay. Connie, you're getting stuff ready to do for that?
Yep, I am. Mhm.
Hi, good evening. I'm just here to present a short presentation on, it's called the Little Free, actually, it's Free Little Library is what it's called. So basically, the mission of this library is to promote literacy and the love of reading by building free book exchanges worldwide, to build a sense of community as we share skills, creativity, and wisdom across generations. What is the Little Free Library? Basically, it's take a book, return a book. It's a gathering place where neighbors share their favorite literature and stories. So you take a book, if you see something you would like to read, take it, look inside, so you see who gave it to the library and who else has read it. Then you share it, return it to the little library, and then it's passed on to a friend. Give books, leave notes in them, and be a friend of all libraries by helping any way you can. And whose library this is? It belongs to everyone. Neighbors, friends, and people from outside the community. Anyone can use it, and that's why it's important to take care of it. Getting started, where is a question for our community? The builder, I'm sure everybody knows him, Norm Anger. And there is no specific requirements for design, so builders and community members are allowed to get creative. And our plan would be maintenance and upkeep, the impacts of the Little Free Library to the park location, our budget, timeline for implementation. Vandalism, the most important thing is to encourage a positive environment regarding the library and encourage forgiveness. Rebuild, replace, or repair as soon as possible. For an example, leave a handwritten note inside the library saying, "Thank you for protecting our loving library." Community involvement, it promotes literacy as well as community cohesion. Stratford has started a little library, and now Kitchener-Waterloo has basically 35 libraries in their community, and the city of Waterloo has came on board, and they're promoting and building their libraries at the Waterloo Park. So, any questions, concerns? Yeah.
Rob?
Friends of ours in the city of Hamilton have in their front yard, they have a little bench. An elderly gentleman comes every day, has a read, as the first one we heard of. It's a very interesting experience.
The history of this library started back in 2009, and it was a gentleman from Wisconsin, and he was basically just built the library was the shape of a little schoolhouse, and it was in tribute of his mother, and she was a teacher, and she just loved to read, and that's basically how it started. So for our community, you might want to build one library and put it in a couple locations, and then that's when the neighborhood would get on board, and that's when they would maybe want to build a little library and put it right on their property. That's kind of how you get started.
Well, personally, I believe literacy and getting children started to read and enjoying what reading can do for them, the worlds it can open for them, and how it can give them lifelong abilities to move into many different vocations by being able to read and understand. And anything that we can do to promote literacy and the ability of people being able to help themselves is something that I believe our council strongly stands behind.
Well, I also feel that it coincides with Alice Monroe, our Nobel Award winner for our community.
Archie?
Have you got thoughts about how you like to see this started? Maybe the township should sort of start the ball rolling and develop locations.
Yes, I've already spoken to Norm, and Norm is quite willing to build the first one. What you can do is, the 3 locations that I questioned would be the Crookshank Park, the Literacy Garden, and then one of the pathways. And you can put them anywhere. You could, if someone wants to build on their property, lots of families will set a little bench out, and that is basically promoting children in the neighborhood, getting to know your neighbors, welcoming your neighbor on your own property. As far as building, we can do it as like a community build. You could get your scouts involved, woodworking group at the high school. There's all kinds of information on the KW website. They talk about, they have a couple gentlemen that did up some plans. The plans of the houses are right on their site. And there's 2 very simple plans that you can use to build the library. Basically, you don't even have to be part of the organization. There is the organization of it, but you could just start small with a few people in the community that are interested, and I think that would definitely get the ball rolling. We have Facebook. We have our brand new Pick Lincoln site that is so great for our community. I think that would be another way to promote it.
So will you be working with Connie to come back with maybe an idea of, hey, here's the first location we want to trial, and then we will get moving on it, or how do you want to proceed?
That would be a start for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else had any suggestions.
Well, I think getting the first one done and started, we could probably find a few children's books to donate to it.
Yes, and basically
get things going too.
It's usually you have like half children's books, and then you have your adult novels. And just you take the book, you bring it back, and before you know it, the library will be full, and there's new books there all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, in the department reports, we're going to Section 3, Director of Recreation and Facilities, and Gary has some comments to make at the start.
Sure. I asked Pat to put together this report for council information as a result of the letter that we received from Ms. Pearl Hodgins of Ripley. Ms. Hodgins was a Wingham resident. So I asked her to put this together to provide council with some more information about the Wingham Heritage Theatre. Since the last council meeting, I also wanted to mention that I have received numerous emails about an online petition that has been started in support of reopening the Wingham Heritage Theatre. So I felt that her report was timely given Ms. Hodgins' letter, but also the emails that I've received as clerk about this online petition that has been started. So we provide this report to you for information.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess just to give some background information, of course, nobody wanted to see the Heritage Theatre or William Town Hall Theatre not be open for public performance, but really budget costs and our fire code compliance issues required that. And so council made a decision to do that. To give some background on what it would take for us to comply with the fire code in order to make it able for public performances. The main expense will be for two items: a sprinkler system in the theater, and the estimated cost, which we just received recently in a couple months ago in 2014, is $26,000 to add to the current sprinkler system we have installed here to expand that to the theater. And I know it seems expensive, but it has to do with the size of the roof, the distance to the chairs, and the kind of stage, and all sorts of intricacies. But we have had Georgian Bay, who does our inspections in, to give us a quote, so we would have at least an idea of how much this would cost. The door upgrades that are required in order for us to meet fire code, the estimated cost there is about $10,000 to $11,000. So that would be required to get us up to code. The other challenge which I've added into my report has been shared with the township in the past by groups who have tried to operate that theater, and that is that it has electric heat, and then it has no air conditioning in that area. So during theater season, which is your summer, a lot of people are touring and traveling, and you want to put a show on in July or August. Without air conditioning, it becomes quite a challenge, and so there haven't traditionally been summer shows offered at the Heritage Theatre. Not that there haven't been Christmas and spring and fall, but that's just been a challenge for anyone who operates the theatre. And in order for us to upgrade that, our most recent estimate is about $40,000 to $50,000 plus engineering, because it will require rooftop units, which require structural engineering checks, and also an HVAC engineer, mechanical engineer, to really provide the proper specs for a system. So those are the hard costs, the capital costs, and then of course a good plan on how to operate it would be open for discussion. On the good news side, we have been meeting with a community group that is looking at how to move this project forward. They are interested in this, and so we'll continue to support that group, but they're not ready. It's very early for them to bring any sort of plan or proposal to council at this stage. So it's time for me to share this information with you, but they're not prepared at this point to come forward yet, but they will.
Do they have time frames, Pat, when they're shooting, when they might be prepared to have something that they can bring to us? So I know what kind of time frames we're looking at?
I don't know when they'll be ready. I know that they have some meetings coming up, but I'm not sure about that at this stage. Ideally, obviously, it would be nice to know their plan for budgets, but I don't have any firm answer for you on that.
That's very encouraging to hear a group that realizes that they have to support this with a project that's going to deal with the management of the process and not just the mechanics of meeting fire code. That's great.
Anything else from council? No.
Go ahead.
If you have something else,
I just have
Go
something
ahead.
on another topic. I just wanted to inform, but not on this topic.
well, that the fire code things have to be done. And that's the first step anyway. So that would be the prioritizing of things. But I also believe it's great that there is interested people that have got together and are working on it. Like, you go to the next topic then.
Okay, I just wanted to just inform council on a couple of other things that are happening in the department. One of our projects this year was to expand the William Trail to the new school, and that project is complete. Signs are up, the stone dust is spread, the canopy is cleared, so we're on track with that, and our goal was to have that done in time for homecoming. So we're excited about that, and we have to thank Kelly's department as well for their assistance and work on that with our department, so that was great. Just for information purposes, the museum boiler changeout tender was open today for pickup at the town hall. It is in the papers, and we also have contacted many of the local HVAC companies to make them aware that it is available for pickup, and it closes on August 5th. So I just want to make everyone aware of that.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Gary?
Just looking ahead on the agenda, there is under new business Wyndham Heritage Theatre. That was I guess put in initially as just a placeholder that there could be recognition of the emails that the clerk has received with regard to the Wyndham Heritage Theatre petition. But unless council has any further discussion on that, I think it's been addressed under the under Pat's staff report. So that was just there as a placeholder. No further action required.
Okay, going to point 4, water and wastewater. Just to ask questions on it, or?
Well, really, I don't have anything to add other than that first statement of the live water. It's not very, the repairs that were made were actually as a result of a lightning strike, so the additional surge protection in that was to prevent reoccurrence. But
Any questions of council on the report? If not, we need a motion accepting the report as printed. Deputy Reach, Councillor Hallinan. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Ron. Okay. In new business, point 2, the Huron Pioneer Thrashers and Hobby Association are requesting support in making an application to the LCDO for a special occasion permit for September 5th and 6th. How does council look at that?
Move that approved.
Okay, Vaughn and Bailey. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, going to point 3, Crystal Taylor from Life Legion Branch 40 is wanting us to declare July 28, 2014 as Cenotaph Day. Rob?
I would move this, I'd like to know if there's any word on the time that this ceremony will be taking place.
I think that they have put together times, but I don't know them at this time. But Gary will find out for us.
Okay, thank you.
So, Biden and Hallinan. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. And point 4, Huron County Food Bank request for support. Ray, did you have a comment?
Yes, well, so how have we been supporting the food bank? Like, have we been doing the donation that's
Pat, do you know, or?
Well, I don't know if it's a budget item. I do know that we have annually held a Family Fun Includes the Winter Lugeathon and collect donations through that. across the township, both from, we do in cash, donate cash or food items. So that is a formal event that we hold annually to support them. And this year we held the barbecue at the town hall and raised just over $500 in support of the food bank, and made a donation to the North Huron Food Share. So I know those are events that we try to have annually to support the cause. I don't know if there's anything prominent in the budget.
I don't think we have officially put it into any list that when we have, it's just been one-offs type of thing. Kathy, do you remember anything? That I know that from what county council makes the donation, that is towards the 50 cents per person that was looked at. And I know that in talking with people at the food bank, I know that there's a lot of individuals that actually make donations on a timely basis, so that that unless somebody is moving a motion to provide for money going on sort of a one-off basis, that we basically would be making a donation, but I don't believe it was earmarked for something in the budget for it, so that it isn't planned. Also, with the food bank, that there's meeting fundraiser on the 7th of August. That there's a business has bought a table of for the evening, and they were wanting a representative from North Huron if possible. And that would actually be my 5th invitation for that particular time slot on August 7th at 7 o'clock. So I can't make it. And I know Brock is figuring on being there for Municipal Night at Blythe Theatre on the 7th of August. Whether there's any of the other councillors would be able to go to dinner at Van Astra or not.
So Neil, you're looking for representation from North Huron Council that's at the table?
Yeah,
That's what you're asking for?
as a representative from North Huron.
I'll bypass the theater and I will take that.
Thank you. Okay, I'll get back. You want to get back to Harry, or do you want me to on that?
I don't have to do this.
Okay.
Is that supposed to or just representative?
I think it's just a representative. Yes.
I'll let Ange talk to you about it later.
Okay.
Your night to cook.
Yeah. Okay, and who's going to talk about the District Hospital Foundation fundraiser? Pat? Using the public spaces for the fundraiser for the Foundation's Radiothon project, where the Radiothon race. Is staff prepared to do the same work again and allow them and let them try and make money for the hospital foundation?
It's my understanding that the organizer has been in touch with our staff and we're aware of the event and their requirements, and we are in support, yes.
Okay. That we have a motion from council that council is endorsing it. McGowan and Reach. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving to council information. And there's 8 points here. Actually, what I was talking about for the dinner, the 7th of August is point number 8, so that's already taken care of with you doing. Thank you. Council, bring forward points from any of the others you want discussed.
I had a few questions on the financing. If Donna's not here, should I just email her with the questions, or?
I would ask them and see if we can respond to that.
Page 1, we have professional fees for the museum for $4,000. It's an architect. I was just wondering what that was for.
One of the compliance issues with the museum building for fire code is the fire escape. And in order for us to determine whether it was up to code and what changes had to be made in order for us to make it to code, we required an architect to provide us with all of that instruction and drawings and such. And so now we have that information and we can move forward with some welders and stuff to get that work done. So we've been working with John Egan, David Sparling, and our department and this architect to resolve how to make that fire escape safe.
Thank you. I have another one here on page 2, and it's the Black Arts and Culture Initiative. The check for the Trillium funding for the $20,000. Is that out of our budget, or is that something to refresh my memory on that?
So if you recall, it was a cooperative or a together application to Trillium. So the Township of North Huron receives the money from Trillium Foundation and then forwards that onto the 1419 group. And so it is not coming from our budget. It flows through us in order for them to complete their work.
Thank you.
On point 4 with Ted McMeekin, appointed Municipal Affairs and Housing. I've talked to Ted numerous times, and he will be an easy minister to approach, and he will evaluate the information it's getting carefully. So that I think that's a good appointment there. Right.
Page 11, maybe Kelly can answer this. The Burnside and Associates, now that the engineering, and we have the landfill sites broke down here, but what is that for?
That's the annual testing for the wells.
So that's every year.
Yeah, and it's budgeted. It's a budget item.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And is that only for that, Kelly? Just for the wells? Like it comes to 11,700.
Yeah.
That's just the wells. Does that have to be done when it's open or closed? Yes, it does. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other comments on any of the topics? Motion to receive, read, and file. Wadden and Reach. All in favor? Carried. And for correspondence, there's the barn dance. The Journal Summer Edition is available at the clerk's office. Basically, full committee reports. Highlights. Moving to council reports and inquiries. Dave.
I have a letter here to Reeve Vincent and Northern Council, and I'm going to get a little emotional. One Sunday, still I'm going to get emotional. One Sunday in late April, Tamara and I went for a Sunday drive. On that drive, we happened to find a property in Stokes Bay that caught our attention. As it turned out, the property was for sale, and we had purchased that property. We listed our property in Blythe and have since sold the Vera Studio and attached home with a closing date of July 24th. Because we will no longer be property owners in Blythe, I submit my resignation from the North Huron Council effective July 23rd, 2014. It has been a great experience working with the current council and one I will never forget. Well, thank you for the experience and the great memories I take with me as Tamara and I start our new adventure. Please stop in when you visit the Bruce Peninsula. We are in Stokes Bay, and you can find us easily. We're in the lighthouse. So, my new address is Box 4570 Stokes River Road in Stokes Bay, and so that's my formal letter. And now I'd like to make a couple comments and on my current council, and I think that it's, I think I would like to say that I'm really proud of some of the things that we've accomplished in the last 4 years on this council, and particularly the establishment of the BIAs in Blythe and in Wingham. I think that's a really, really important thing, and as Doug Kyvan pointed out tonight, the work that the BIA are doing to help improve our towns, and the work that the Blythe BIA are doing to improve our towns as volunteers. And when you have a volunteer that is willing to bend over and pull a weed or cut a weed, I think that's really important. I'm very proud of the fact that we have established the Emergency Service Training Center in Blythe and the Fire Department in North Huron. Those are really, I think, benchmark projects that we've done. The strategic plan and the official plan, where we can now allow some rural severances and help improve our tax base and keep some of the heritage farmsteads in the county or in the municipality occupied by property owners that have pride in ownership in the properties. I think it was important that we established our developmental charges, and so that as development is taking place, we have money going into reserves for water and sewer and upgrades to our roads and streets. The town hall renovations were important. They were a surprise to some of us, but and the cost of them was a surprise, but it sure made the building look a lot better. And when I drive into Wingham from Blythe, you see the yellow town hall and the copper roof. It stands out, and I think that as a council, that was one of the highlights. The 1419 campaign in Blythe and our support for that is really, really important, because we have a group of people, again, volunteers, that are working hard to develop a Center of the Arts, to repair Memorial Hall, and the donations that are coming through for that and the events. I think that we are really, really fortunate to have people in the community that are willing to take on projects like this. And with the support of council, I think it's important that we continue to support them, and they'll really make our communities thrive. Doug Kyvenhoven did a presentation here tonight. What a presentation. Like, again, volunteers and $25 or $50 worth of paint on some buildings makes a huge difference. Homecoming is going to be a great party. And the same with the Bloor Street Fest. And again, council are supporting these things, and we forget that council do support some of these things because they are really, really important. I'd like to thank the staff of North Huron. They've been great. And anytime I've ever stopped to talk to staff on the street or met them anywhere, I've always had good, courteous response and very, very helpful, and always answered my questions. And then to the official press, Danny and crowd, thank you for your honest reporting and the good job you do in keeping citizens of the community informed. I'm really, really pleased with how you do it, and it's a tribute to the Advanced Times and the Citizen and CKNX that you do your best to keeping the citizens informed in a balanced manner and the truth. To the future council, I've always thought that we should think outside of the box. But then, in the last while, I've been thinking, and I'm going to say, to hell with thinking outside of the box. Let's throw the box away, and let's expand and grow. And I think North Huron is a great place to expand and grow, and it has all the potential in the world if we let it happen. I'm a little disappointed, if I can be disappointed in one thing, and that is that we haven't extended water and services out to Hutton Heights. I was listening to a TV commentator a couple of weeks ago who used to work with Paul Martin when he was finance minister for Canada. And his comment was that municipalities should be borrowing money now for infrastructure, whereby you can borrow money at 2 or 3%. The cost of infrastructure expansion, if we wait 5 years, is going to go up 5 and 8 and 10% per year. If we had spent a couple of $100,000 and had water out to Hutton Heights 2 years ago, there's our interest payments saved. Plus, we would maybe have some expansion out there already. And that, to me, seems where the industrial land from the Wingham area is certainly the best option. And then as well, we need to not only think of the north end of the municipality, but we have to look at the south end as well, and expansion in Blythe and in Belgrave, and maybe even in Auburn. And then the last comment I want to make, if I may, we have cancer in this community, and it was described as a cancer a couple of weeks or a couple of meetings ago. It's worse than a cancer, it's a malignant tumor. If the people in this municipality that write the blog would take the same amount of time that it takes to write the blog and bend over and pull a weed and make our town look better, and quit complaining about what the things council are not doing, and work hard to make this community a better place, then maybe the tumor would quit growing. I'm embarrassed by what I read in the Wingham Free Press, and I think that the people that write it should be embarrassed as well. And a few years ago, about 3 years ago, My former daughter-in-law worked for a large company in Toronto, and they were thinking of coming to Wingham. They opened up, or they Googled Wingham, and they got the Wingham Free Press. They canceled their plans to come to Wingham after reading about the drugs and the speeders and all of the other things that they perceived to be bad in Wingham. Perhaps if they would nip the tumor off and come alive and look at what we have to contribute in Wingham and take part in contributing, then maybe, just maybe, we could have a little bit more expansion in Wingham and in North Huron. Thank you, Reeve. Those are my comments, and it's been a great pleasure serving on North Huron Council. I leave with regret, but at the same time, it's a new chapter in my life, and I'm going fishing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's been great working with you, with your business experience and everything that you've been through, all the Lions projects that you've been involved with in other communities. You have been a great addition to our council. Level-headed, looking at what we can afford, what we can't. Wistfully looking at certain things that we'd like to see done. But thank you very much for your time and your efforts. That you have left your mark. Any other councillors?
I think just, it's a pleasure to work with you, Dave, and, I think it's been a good fit. You've always had the community's best interest at heart. We don't always make the best decisions. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we do it, with the best information we have at the time and trying to do what's best for the community. And I think you've always put the community first, and I think that's to be commended. There are those that don't, and that's fine, but your time and the effort, we all know what kind of time and effort it takes to be on council, and anybody that has the guts to do that is to be commended. And thank you for your service to the community.
Brock?
I have to say, thanks, Dave. I can't tell you how pleased I was when you showed up for the interviews that we had when we were looking to fill appointments, and you haven't disappointed at all.
Ray?
Thank you, Dave. And I had some discussions. They all turned out well, and I give you great respect. Thanks again. I like fishing.
Yeah.
Jim?
Thank you, Dave, for being a part of it. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I wish you all the best. And I may stop and work with you.
When we first started, but it was quite a rumble between the two of us. I have enjoyed the challenge. It's been good sitting beside you all these years. It has been an experience. I wish you all the best in your retirement. And I don't fish. I will golf.
Okay. We wished you would have waited a little while longer before retiring, but thank you for all your services, and we'll move on to the clerk administrator's report now.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Just a reminder that Thursday, August 7th is Municipal Night at the Black Festival. I know I've heard from some councillors who have indicated that they will be attending, and we look forward to hearing from others. So far, We've received an excellent response from your counterparts in other municipalities in southwestern and midwestern Ontario. We've also had a great response from North Huron staff. So I think to date, we have about 60 confirmed, which is fantastic, and I hope to get many more between now and August 7th. Also, just a reminder that the local clerks and treasurers, in partnership with Municipal Affairs and Housing, have organized a candidate information session this Thursday at 7 p.m. There will be presentations there, or presentations given by Municipal Affairs representatives. There will also be some clerks, municipal clerks and deputy clerks there. I know that there are some candidates from North Huron who have registered to attend the session on Thursday. And just a reminder on that. I don't want to steal the Deputy Reeves' thunder, but last week I notified council and staff that I'm resigning as CAO clerk for North Huron to take a similar position with the municipality of Blue Water, and my new job starts on September 2nd. I will be here over the next 6 weeks to tidy up loose ends and to ensure a smooth and seamless transition. It's this is Dave's night. It's not mine, but it's for me. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve council. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with council and working collaboratively with community stakeholders and municipal staff. The Deputy Reeve gave a long list of some of the things that council and staff and the community have achieved together over the last few years, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. But it hasn't been one person. There's very few things at Town Hall that can be attributed to one person. We're a team. We work together as a team. Everybody has a role to play, and I've had an opportunity to work provincially and federally, and that was a lot of fun. But I get a lot of satisfaction working municipally, working at the local level, because I believe that council and staff and the community have an opportunity to make an impact and make a meaningful difference on a daily basis. And we see what's going on with the BIA, Curb Appeal Committee, and all the other committees and the volunteers that Dave Reach talked about tonight. Together we get things done. And council can't do everything on their own, and neither can staff. We have to work together as a collaboration. And so that's my personal motivation every day. It's there's an opportunity for all of us to get something done on a daily basis. And that's something that drives me on a daily basis, and I appreciate the opportunity that I've been given. It's been an honor and a privilege. And, thanks very much. I know, Connie, you had a report.
Well, I just wanted to make note again about some of the volunteers. The volunteerism that's been happening this year. It's not new. It's not new in North Huron, but there are a few things going on. Blythe Street Fest has already been mentioned. That's happening this weekend. I have Blythe Cenotaph Day, which has already been mentioned. Wingham Homecoming, as you know, is happening in 2 weeks. To date, they have over 380 volunteers registered, not including some of the larger groups that include like Silver Stick, Friends of the Museum, Legion, who are actually putting in hours in their own committees, helping things for homecoming. So it's just a massive manpower that is putting this thing together. I want to give a shout out to, again, Judy just left, so maybe I can mention her name. The amount of work that's been going on in the museum, spearheaded by Jody Jerome and Judy Lyons, who just left, updating all of the history of the main street. I walked through the museum a couple of weeks ago, and Judy had a whole table full of retired teachers and principals, and we were going through old school pictures and jotting down names that had been missed, and there's just so much of that going on, and people are hearing that and showing up with other pictures and other stories, and it's absolutely remarkable. And I just wanted to make note again about the hours and hours of volunteers that go into making things successful. To note, I guess Homecoming Store will be setting up, they're moving out of the museum on Sunday, they're moving into the Middleton store, so all next week there will be hours there, again run by volunteers for merchandise, tickets, registration, so I guess we'll have a little bit more space in the museum. There's a lot of other things going. I walked through today, friends of the museum are helping do programs for the day camps, so they were learning about pioneers and things like that. So there's so much going on all the time, but once again, I wanted to make note of the volunteers. Met again with Muskrat Festival a couple of nights ago. They are keen to get things going for next year already, as you know happens. They don't just meet a few weeks and pull off the events that they do. So just want to shout out to all of those volunteers that really help make our jobs a lot easier. So.
Just on behalf of staff, Deputy Reed, thank you for your support of staff, both publicly and privately. We also appreciate that you come here wearing the Blythe hat, but you wear our Huron hat at the same time as well. And always value your perspective and your input. And it's been a pleasure working with you. And on behalf of staff, we wish you and Tamara the very best. And as you alluded to in your remarks, sometimes there's occasions in life when opportunities come along and you take them. And we wish you the very best.
I'd like to thank the volunteers too, but I'd like to just back up here a bit to Gary and Gary's leading. I came on the council here about 4 years ago, completely green. Didn't know what to expect. Honestly, hadn't been to a council meeting in 30 years. It was a different lifestyle back then. As I had alluded to with Dave, I hit the road with a lot of thunder and had to find my way. And the staff, but especially Gary was always there for me. I could call him up, I could come in and talk to him on a minute's notice. We could work on things, and we could figure things out. And I've said this to you before, Gary, even if we're at opposite ends of the spear, it was always business. There was never personal rattling. There was never idea of it was, this is why I'm doing this, and this is why you're doing this, and it's trying to happy medium. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that. You weren't a stuffy person that didn't want to be bothered with the silliness that I was carrying on and the way I still carry on today, and we're going to have a little more in a minute. But anyway, I do really appreciate that, and I know it's your first time as a clerk, and just speaking from myself, thank you very much. It has been a good 3.5 years. When I got so angry about things, I'd have a conversation with you, calm it all down, even though it was in different directions. We could move forward, understood each other. I just can't say thank you, man.
Councilor, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I think it goes without saying, we wish you all the best, Gary, in your position.
Thanks.
Thanks for that.
Here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
Been fun, Gary.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely from all the council. It's a thank you for things that you've helped us through and everything. So life changes, and change is the one thing that can be called constant. So and as Dave is moving to something else, you're trying something the same, but it's going to be a certain amount different too. So the best in all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
It's just been one oversight. We should have had Kleenex at all of our workstations.
Actually, the desk here, I know I have a box of that, but the desk's against the wall. Thank you, and I guess we move to public gallery questions or comments. All right.
And when there's thank yous here, I don't think this is premature, because I think the job's going to be done tomorrow, but I think we should thank County Council for what they did in the village of Blythe, and take into consideration giving us a whole new street, and the efficient way that they did it. Because they had some extra work to do in there. And tonight, I think it'll be finished, won't it, Dave? Practically. So I think we should thank county council considering our roads.
I will take that message.
I'll add to it and say that they've done it on non-theater days.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go to public gallery? Oh, okay. Public gallery questions or comments on topics that have been on the agenda tonight? Trevor?
Yes, thank you. I have a question about, I was not around when the Heritage Theater was closed because of fire. And there's nothing more than I would love to see Heritage brought back. My only comment is, and I brought this up many times in my comments and questions, is utilization of space needs to be included in the cost of capital and the cost of operating. If it's only going to be run 1 day or 2 days a week or whatever the case may be, I know it's a thing that we've always had, and sometimes it's difficult to stay enough. And these are difficult decisions made by people, and people have to respect the decisions that are made. And I think from the conversations that we just had for the last 10 minutes, via Gary and Dave, and it's a difficult job. And I think people need to understand that it's not a lucrative job based on the time and effort that you have to put in. And again, it's one of those things where decisions have to be made. And if you want to not make a decision, to me, council's not the place for you to be. You need to have thick skin, but you need to be able to make a decision. And I think from my standpoint, that's all my comment is with regards to the Heritage Theater. I think it's a valuable asset, but utilization of that space needs to come part of that conversation. If it's not going to be utilized and operated properly, then my comment, my opinion only, is that money is better spent utilizing other things that are good for the community. So, but it's a difficult decision. So, thank you.
Thank you. And Trevor, my understanding is the committee that are working on it are looking at definitely the utilization after things are being done, and that part and parcel of there's got to be the reason for doing it in use afterwards.
I would concur with what Trevor said, and the fact that the Heritage Theater struggled for a lot of years. I mean, this council put in about $60,000 over 3 years to assist them in their endeavors and help them in other ways as well. And they had great difficulty. And hopefully, whatever decision we make with regards to the finalization of retrofits will be taken in context with a new business plan that says, here's our plan and here's how we're going to fill that space and generate revenue. Whereas it's been a challenge, and even to the point that people sign personal notes to cover, because they were that dedicated to the cause, and God bless them, really. I mean, they were that dedicated to what was going on in the theater. That's a lot for people to put their own pocketbooks on the line. And it sounds from that like that's what direction this group is going in. So I think that's a real big positive for the community.
Rob?
I think it's important that that council and community committees take a very broad approach to this, and utilization is a big factor. I mean, we already have a theater in North Huron, and perhaps if someone is looking at this proposition of reopening the Heritage Theater, at the same time we should be considering whether those same things could be happening in the theater that we already have without expanding this. If the business case is made that this is the place it needs to go and it needs to add to our available space for performance and so on, so be it. But we need to have that proposition put forward that looks at all of the options, not just a little narrow thing of that room up there.
Other comments or questions? Danny?
Following on the same route, has to anyone through the REAP, has anyone on that committee been put in touch with the 1419 campaign who are also looking at building a theater? State-of-the-art theater and
I can probably speak to that, but it's probably not a bad idea considering that is a very good example of a public-private partnership that is working extremely well, better than I could have guessed. I mean, radio, they've done great advertising, great marketing, and I mean, the Fair on Fork would be just something incredible to see. It really is. So I would hope that would put them in contact and so that they can assist them in their endeavors in whatever way possible.
Other questions or comments? Okay, we have 3 points for an in-camera, so a motion to go in camera. Campbell and Bodden, all in favor? Carried. Short recess now.